to LAMATA half hour. Your dreams will come true. Well, at least they would. If you emulate and observe people who consistently take dreams and diligently convert them into reality.
If you need such a person to study, then allow us to recommend Dr. Dayo Mobereola, the immediate past Managing Director of LAMATA and currently the Honorable Commissioner for Transportation in Lagos State. Over the last decade, Dr. Mobereola faithfully executed Lagos State's dream to create a world-class transport system for you, one befitting a mega city like ours.
And our BRT, the rehabilitated roads, and the rail project, they are only but the tip of the iceberg. Sure. And so today we return to the Honorable Commissioner for Transportation, Dr. Dayo Mobereola, as he reviews Lagos State's lofty plans for transportation now and in the future. And we'll do that after the news highlight. I am Kate Harmon.
And I am Obafemi Craig. Enjoy the show. Welcome and thanks for joining us on the news highlight on LAMATA half hour. The Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority LAMATA has again appealed to unauthorized users to desist from violating the state traffic law and the bus rapid transit regulations on the use of the BRT lane. Mr. Iyola Adegboye, the acting managing director of the authority, noted that the appeal has become necessary in view of the flagrant abuse of the corridor by commercial motorcycles riders, popularly known as Okada riders, who are by law restricted from plying Ikorodu Road. He said using the BRT lanes by Okada riders constitute grave danger to both the rider and the passenger, owing to the risk of being knocked down within the lane. Adegboye added that the state and LAMATA place huge premium on life and will continue to appeal to road users to obey rules and regulations which have been put in place to secure their safety and well-being. To discuss further the issue of BRT lane violation with us in the studio is the External Relations Specialist LAMATA, Mr. Kolawole Ojelabi. It's a pleasure, sir, to have you join us on the studio, sir.
It's good to be here.
So what has been the impact of the enforcement along the corridor on reducing violation?
What we have done as an agency is to provide some healers, patrol vehicles to the monitoring team. We have the task force from the governor's office that are doing the enforcement. And I think over time, they have been able to do what they have been asked to do, ensure that people do not violate the BRT lanes in particular. Because when we're talking about corridor and lanes, we need to make a distinction between the corridor and the lanes. Okay. Now, the entire Ikorodu Road is a BRT corridor. And so the BRT lanes are those lanes segregated for the BRT. So in terms of ensuring that those who are not supposed to use it, I think the task force have tried their best. But of course, you know, they cannot be there 24 hours.
Exactly.
So during this period when the task force is not there, you will always see people violate the BRT lanes.
Well, sir, before you go, your final thought on this issue, sir.
The moment you have laws, then sins will abound. And so, I just want to appeal to our people, don't be caught on the side of sin. And like we always say in LAMATA, if you don't want to do the time, don't commit the crime. But if you commit the crime, certainly you do the time.
Sir, we want to thank you extremely for being part of the program today, sir.
My pleasure.
That was Mr. Kolawole Ojelabi, External Relations Specialist LAMATA, discussing on the issue of BRT lane violation along the corridor. Major works on the Mile 12 to K2 Traffic Management Intervention Project will be completed as scheduled. According to LAMATA, the completion of major works on the project will give road users plying the road a smooth ride and a better experience. LAMATA commended members of the public for their patience and cooperation throughout the construction phase. And that ends the news highlight. Last week on the show, you joined us on a trip to Dr. Dayo Mobereola's office, the Lagos State Commissioner for Transportation, as he shared the state's plans for transportation in 2016 and beyond. What he revealed gives us much to be excited about.
He said the government is diligently at work to improve water transportation this year and work with the private sector to improve and run the cable car transport in Lagos State.
He reminded us that Lagos is firmly on track to achieve its S10Ep, the state strategic master plan, which culminates in 14 BRT routes, 700 road network, 7 rail lines, and water transport routes. He has more to share, so join us as we return to the Honorable Commissioner.
The Lagos State government recently launched a mobile court to try cases bordering on environmental sanitation, transportation, and the like. How does this affect public transport?
Well, the idea of the mobile court is to speedily act on traffic offenders, majorly in the area of transportation. And why is it necessary? It's necessary because we have seen over time that the bane of the problems of transportation in Lagos is actually the fact that people are actually not obeying the traffic laws and regulations. Why did I say so? A road that is 2 lanes, because there is maybe a pothole or there is a blockage at a junction, they will turn it to a 5-lane. And when you turn a lane that is 2-lane capacity to a 5-lane, then you are creating more congestion at the back, a lot longer than what it would have taken you to all be in a symmetric line and go ahead and go to where you're going. It goes to show that Lagosians and majority of road users actually, we still have the well-disciplined road users, but some are actually reckless, they are indisciplined, and they lack patience, and they must obey the road signs. They must obey the traffic laws. They must obey the regulations. That is how we can help them to get them to the destination where they want to go to. There is no point in hurrying and getting stuck in traffic. Some of these problems can be well resolved. I am appalled to say it because some of the problems are actually caused by the so-called educated people, because when you see them driving on the culvert, on the walkways, and instead of just staying on the queue and easily you would pass through if there is a blockage at the front or whatever. And to make it worse, you now see them driving against the one way and encroaching onto the 2-lane right of way for the oncoming vehicles. So those are the people where the mobile court is actually meant for, not for law-abiding citizens and law.
Mobile court is not for you if you obey traffic rules. Am I right?
Simply, you are very right. The traffic court is actually meant for errant people who are not obeying the traffic law regulations, laws, and that is it.
And on a final note, there's a project along the Mile 12 axis. They're building barricades to desist people from crossing over from one lane to the other. And people keep asking, people are staying hours in traffic. And we want to know, when is this going to end?
Let me start by saying that we are pleading with the people of that axis to just bear with us. The reason why we're doing it is for the benefit of the people. And the reason why it is for the benefit of the people is that we notice that a lot, because of the Mile 12 market, a lot of activities actually take place around that area. The danfos, the traders, they don't even trade right in the market anymore. They trade on the road. And then the commercial vehicles pick up luggage, goods, and hold back a lot of people that are actually just going through. So what we are doing in the Mile 12 right now is just to barricade and ensure that when you are on the main carriageway, that is, if you are coming from the flyover and you're going straight down to K2, you just have a run through. And then because the barrier would have discouraged people who would have carried their goods and want to come and stand in the main carriageway to enter the buses. And then it will just be a peaceful drive, a smooth drive. And we are sure that by the end of this month of February, the job will be done and dusted and completed, and people would enjoy. I forgot that the fact I forget that the fact that they had been in traffic for a bit, but believe me, it's for their benefits. I'm not making excuses, but the fact was that they've been suffering this for a very long time. Over years, the market has been there, but we are providing a solution that will last forever.
Well, thank you so much. And what are your final thoughts?
My final thought is that Lagos is moving forward, and for Lagos to move forward, we need a good public transportation. And to give Lagos a public transportation it needs to be underpinned by planning very well, implementing it and executing it, and also for the people of Lagos to bear with us. We now have a roadmap. We know where we're going to, and we have started work on it, and so we're getting there. It might take a bit longer in the eyes of the citizens of Lagos, but the combination of the citizen abiding by the rules and regulations as it is today, the combination of states doing what we need to do, and also we as a state government also encouraging the private sector, because that is how we can deliver a good public transportation for Lagos. We want to make Lagos a livable place. We want to make Lagos a city where you can travel from A to B without any problem, any hassle, and determine it yourself, so that transportation will be reliable, meaning you can estimate how long it will take you from Ikorodu to CMS or Ikorodu to VI, and you know roughly it's going to take you about 45 minutes, and within 45 minutes or 46 minutes or 50 minutes at most, you are where you are at your final destination, and that is where we're going to. And and the intention also is to encourage the use of public transportation so that it would free the road, and will develop seriously the interchanges, the alternative mode of transportation, which I spoke to earlier on, the rail, the water transport, the buses, all coming together, people having choices, and reducing the cost of transportation so that people can have extra money in their pocket to do whatever they want to do. So that is where we're heading to.
Thank you so much for having us today.
My pleasure.
LAMATA of Hour continues. Stay with us.
From the full picture given us by the Honorable Commissioner, we beam our searchlight on one element, the Bus Rapid Transit, BRT.
It undoubtedly changed transportation in Lagos State for the better. And in the spirit of raising our standard, LAMATA has embarked on a long-term assessment of the impact of the success of the BRT travel experience.
But so far, has its services improved? Is your time traveled reduced and the journeys more comfortable? Dr. Fred Oladende, Technical Advisor, Transport Planning, LAMATA, is on the standby to brief us on LAMATA's efforts to assess the impact of the BRT in line with the second phase of the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP, a long-term project to revolutionize transportation in Lagos State.
In line with the second phase of the Lagos Urban Transport Project, LUTP, We have Dr. Fred Oladin, the Technical Advisor, Transport Planning, LAMATA, to talk to us about the data gathering for impact assessment of BRT lanes. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay, LAMATA is carrying out a survey tagged Periodic Impact Assessment Survey on Key Performance Indicators. What is the exercise all about?
Well, the exercise is meant to look at the impact of LUTP, which is the Lagos Urban Transport Project. And in that project, the biggest element of that project is the BRT. Okay. We want to measure the impact of BRT on people's travel experience. Is BRT serving their purpose? Has travel time come down? Waiting time, is it still as long as it used to be? Have people started spending less on transportation as a result of BRT? And we want to look at the impact of the BRT on safety, people's experience, comfort, reliability. I mean, do people wait 20 minutes today and then 30 minutes tomorrow, and then maybe 1 hour when it rains? When we have BRT, parading that corridor consistently. So these are all the elements that we want to measure. And we want to take that experience to another corridor. When we're building the next corridor, all the good elements from this corridor have to be transferred to that. So it's a way of trying to do a reality check on what we're doing also. Are we serving the customers better, or are we making our situation worse? So that's the essence of the data collection.
Okay, so are you talking to them, or you giving them questionnaires?
It's a combination of questionnaires, talking to them, and going on the corridor ourselves and experiencing what they're experiencing. So, for example, we have enumerators going on the bus, trying to measure travel time. So, for example, from Ikorodu to CMS, so they would travel with the passengers. So we call them mystery travelers. You would know that they're actually measuring on the bus, but they're there measuring. They actually measure the time it takes to board passengers, waiting time, and then we also have enumerators at each station. So when a bus leaves, they measure the time it takes for the next bus to come, so that we can measure people's waiting time. We also have people talking to commuters, people that use cars. We want to find out why they're not using the BRT. It is that the BRT doesn't serve their purpose, or are they traveling longer? So we ask them where they're coming from, where they're going to, and we then look at whether the BRT can serve them better or not. And then we look at accidents on the road, what are the causes of accidents, and etc.
Okay, so one of the gains by commuters in the implementation of the BRT system is reduction of waiting time.
That's correct.
At the bus stops. So how will the survey assist in showing the improvement in this area? Because, okay, recently after the BRT was launched, the new BRT was launched, you see that people complained that, okay, they had to wait at the bus stations. It appeared that a lot of people now had to take BRT bus to different places because they feel it's more comfortable and all that. So how would the survey show us that there's been an improvement in this area?
As I said before, we're going to have enumerators at each station. Okay. And they will be measuring when the bus comes, when it departs, and then from the time that the bus departs, they will measure the time that the next one comes. And we're going to do that over 15 months anyway, so that we can look at the time trend and make sure that the waiting time is not actually getting worse.
Okay, yeah, so what are other reasons? Because we need to know the lessons you're going to take out of this assessment. How else are you going to make sure they are properly used?
First of all, we want to make sure that people are not waiting longer at stations. We want to make sure that BRT actually reduces people's travel time. We want to make sure that BRT is safe. So every data that we collect from here will go into the operational plan for the next data, for the next BRT. So these are operational data that we are collecting that would then inform us of how to schedule buses, how to develop the next operational plan for the other BRTs. Most importantly, one thing we haven't talked about is the fact that BRT needs to cater for all types of people, be it the disadvantaged group, that's ladies with children. When you look at the buses, there are compartments where they can put their stuff. But I'm not talking about heavy truck loads. I mean, for that you need to hire a truck. But people should be able to carry little. I mean, for example, if you're traveling, maybe you're going to catch a plane, you have a suitcase or whatever, you should be able to put it somewhere.
So, Dr. Fred, what else do you think we need to know? Because the viewers are watching, they are listening to you, and it's important for them to get all the information that is required as far as this assessment is concerned.
It's important that the commuters cooperate with us. Some of the interviews will stop them, ask them questions, etc. But I mean, these questions need to be answered so that we can serve them better. So they should cooperate with our people, give them the necessary information needed, and we can assure them that we're not going to make their life as difficult as they feel it would be. Well, I mean, this information is to make them, to serve them better, and then to make the operation, to get it better and give them the best that they deserve.
That warms the heart.
Thank you.
That warms the heart. You see, now it's a two-way thing. You give the information, we make the BRT experience for you better.
Well, time to take in some of the messages you sent in during the week. This is coming from Musbao Abayomi Alatishe. You wrote saying, it's been wonderful here in Lagos with the introduction of this new BRT bus with air conditioning in Lagos. In fact, it's a Siwaju Ikinleko Lo Jewalogun. Another one from Mark Oluwashijibomi Abiodun. You posted saying, the truth must be told. Riding the blue bus from Ikorodu to any of my destination has been awesome. No stress at all. So cool and cozy. I hope and pray that the services are maintained. So far, so good. Kudos, you said.
You don't serve a customer you don't understand. So help us by sending your questions, comments, and observations coming on any of our following contacts.
Well, thank you for joining us on today's show. Here is a good lesson to take from this episode. Be faithful to your work, and you will enjoy promotion without end.
And that's Lagos State's recipe for success. It works for us here at LAMATA, and it will certainly work for you. My name is Kate Harmony.
And I am Obafemi Craig, LAMATA.
Keeping Lagos moving.
Lagos, my home. With LAMATA, Lagos is changing for the best. BRT lanes, modern rail lines, pedestrian bridges.